Saw your video on the opening, which was a couple months ago. Beautiful showroom. Is that kind of the template that, the PGA would like to go towards in the boutique model?
That's the thing. We want to show that, these are luxury Italian brands, but at the same time, we want you to spin a tire, have fun, you know what I mean, and enjoy it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this episode of the Dealership Fixit Podcast. My name is Jacob Berry, and today I got on an OEM today, and I got Michael Gerbino, who is the current one of the highest level guys in the PGA Americas group, the Piaggio Group Americas. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about his journey and kind of how the OEM interacts with the dealership. He's got a lot of experience, not only at the dealership, but now overseeing some dealerships and their marketing, their sales, and just a whole bunch of things. So, Michael, thanks for coming on, man. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I know you like to joke. Obviously, I've been to the company a few years now, going on 4 years. Not on the highest level at all, but true passion behind the product. So, it's I've been in the motorcycle industry now for over 10 years. So, no, really excited to be on the show and talk some bikes with you.
Awesome, man. Well, let's kind of jump into it from there. So, you've worked at some automotive and some Powersports dealerships before you worked at Piaggio Group. Why don't you kind of walk us through a little bit of that, what you've done and what you've experienced there?
Yeah, so always been into anything wheels. As I was young, always into cars. I've had tons of muscle cars, enjoyed that stuff. Only one in kind of my family friend group to really jump on two wheels. I always wanted to do it. I have some pictures when I was younger on some stuff, like some joke and stuff, and it came to fictation. And here we are. I think I was 19 years old, and I needed a job. I was in college, and my sales is in my blood. My dad's been doing it for years, and I walked into Motorcycle Mall, which is one of the biggest on the East Coast. They're 116,000 square feet. They had about 15 to 16 OEMs at the time. So a real powerhouse dealer, unbelievable business owner and mindset. The guys there were great. And they really taught me a lot about business and the industry. So 19, fresh, and then just getting on a motorcycle. I might even fluffed at my resume that I was a real rider. I was like fresh on a bike, like real old $1,000 motorcycle, just getting into the sport. And I was like, yeah, I ride, just to kind of fluff it up. And I got the job. And I was one of their top guys with sales for a few years, I worked my way into getting into more of a marketing role there. And I was there for a total of 5 years, doing marketing under the GM, going over all those events and helping them with all this similar stuff that I did on a kind of a small scale level, working my way into the manufacturer. So when that position was available, I did apply and again, work my way into the manufacturer side of things and haven't looked back since. Here we are 4 years now in Piaggio Group, growing every day, working our way to the top. But, we did a lot of big things and, I'm excited to be part of the company. And, here we are, like I said, doing marketing and now working my way into a regional sales role as of 2024.
Nice. Thank you for all that. Thank you. Let's kind of hit on the Motorcycle Mall because that is such a huge dealer, and shout out to the guys at the Motorcycle Mall. Just awesome business. What was the kind of aha moment when you were working there, where you go, like most of us do, you start out, it's like kind of need a job, it's something cool, right? I like to ride, maybe I'll sell some bikes. What was kind of the aha moment that you go, you know what? I think this is it. This is what I'm going to do. This is my career now.
Yeah, you know what it was? It was funny. It's just it's like, I really was getting into the sport and I started riding more and really enjoying it and being so adventurous to be on two wheels. Like I said, being kind of the only person to want to do it is it kind of sparked kind of the energy for me to want to really get into the sport. And when that position opened for that marketing role, I again applied for it with Motorcycle Mall and the guys were happy to have me do it. And I kind of was like a more of a liaison to the general manager. I would help out with a lot of things. And for me, it just felt natural. Like I was like, this is it. I love talking to people. I love doing the social media aspect, being a younger guy. So it's a lot of stuff I understood really well. And it just felt right, in that instance that I was like, this is, where I'm supposed to be. And this is where we are 10 years down the line now, still doing two wheels.
It's crazy how quickly it goes, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. When I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I've been in the industry for, 10 years now. Just about. So
it just keeps going. Yeah. Nice, man. Well, I think that you've got an awesome trajectory going into the PGA group. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit at post your dealership experience, which you've got a lot of it with those guys there. I met you as the product marketing specialist. I know you're doing some new stuff now, but kind of dive me into those first couple of years at PGA, where you were developing some strategies, coming up with some marketing plans, and kind of helping to, make an impact on the current dealer base and even grow it. Can you kind of tell us a couple home runs that you had with that?
Yeah, I think as a whole, the group has grown a lot in the past years. And it's something that I am really excited to be a part of because realistically, basically, when we first started out, this was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. It was me, my colleague that were doing a lot of the marketing aspects of it. We had our PR guy and events guy, and it's a very small team. I mean, most people don't know, but Piaggio Group is a smaller team, but it's a lot of passion. And I think over the years, we've grown as a team to bring in a lot more young, passionate people that really care about the sport. And, even when I was in the mall, all the reps I would meet and everyone would shake a hand. I was like, I don't even know if this guy could get on a motorcycle. Like that was the feeling sometimes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's unfortunate because once you start getting into the corporate side, and now I'm seeing things on a kind of a 360 spindle, right? It's just to look at it. I'm happy with all the people and the growth we've had in the past few years. So for me, when I dove in, it was a big look to starting to do a lot more advertising, right? So get more on the digital wave. Being a smaller company, we didn't have a lot of hands that could help out. So starting there was one of my big points. Was I wanted to help out a lot in the social media aspect, a lot in Google, because I know Google was what helped put Motorcycle Mall on the map. You know what I mean? That was one of their big things that they would put some money to that would help. And a lot of dealers, as you know, and we talked to, there are a lot of smaller dealers. They're not going to be all these powerhouses, but once they get to a point where they could start using Google to just get people in the door, that's where we saw it nationally. It was something we needed to put a lot more time into. So that was something I was excited to help and grow. And here we are now trying to put it into our dealer network as easy, as smooth as possible.
Let's break that down a little bit. I see your job as pretty difficult, at least at the product marketing specialist, because at PGA, as you know, but for the rest of the audience, it consists of four major brands of Piaggio scooters, Vespa scooters, Moto Guzzi motorcycles, and Aprilia motorcycles. So you got four very distinct type of brand offerings. I guess you can argue Piaggio and Vespa are similar, even though Vespa is the higher line, right? But you've got a very unique brand that goes out there. It's got a very rich history, especially in Europe, right? Being an Italian set of brands. But how do you kind of differentiate, hey, we need to come up with this type of marketing strategy for this one, but we're going to do something slightly different for this audience that buys this product? I mean, how was that interacting with the dealerships in this type of US market where they've got, a whole range of different riders that with all the different product that you offer, right?
Well, yeah, and I think that's one of the good things. Like some of the other brands out there, we do kind of have, like they say, a butt for every seat, right? It's a brand that does have, those four brands that are so different. When it comes to, the people who I work with, the good news is a lot of us do ride. We do own, we do our own research, if you will say, and that's a lot of how we learn about the customer, because sometimes the customer is also us. But we also do a lot of calls, right? I do a lot of fielding calls. I talk to a lot of dealers daily. And just get a lot of information, but also having multiple people that I work with on a corporate level that have been in the dealership experience. I think that really is the best help that we can help understand, is because we've been there. We've talked to that customer face to face. We might have even sold that customer face to face. So we kind of understand it. The biggest thing, like you mentioned with Europe, to us, that is, I think, a pain point or a difficult point is scooters, because in Europe, it is a means of transportation, where in the US and Canada, North America, it's just fun, right? So having that experience that we're trying to show the customer that it's a fun thing to get out of the house, get off the computer and use a scooter. I might have said like, a scooter in the past, but now I own a Vespa GTS 300 and it does 84 miles per hour. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? It's these things you don't think you could do until you start doing it, that you're like, wow, it really is a phenomenal product. And that, is probably one of our, like I said, our hardest things to do. When it comes to the motorcycle side of it, the passion's there, right? It's just got to let people know, right? So with Aprilia, it's been around for a while. We have a very rich racing heritage. The brand has been around for years. In the US, it's been around, if I'm not mistaken, since the 06, 07, around there. And, it's been a bike that wins the RSV4 and the Swan V4. These are motorcycles that win shootouts. And the bike is just, it keeps getting more refined every single year. And every time I ride it, compared to some of our other manufacturers, that's what sells the motorcycle. Once you get on those Aprilias, I mean, there's such great engineering in the motorcycle, and, appealing to that type of customer who's looking to be more track oriented, who wants to be, something a little different on the street. And kind of the brand awareness we're trying to bring around the brand, doing Moto America. Now you have the American MotoGP team. So like making Aprilia a household name, we're working our way to it and doing a lot more things that are exciting for the US and Canada. Guzzi, it's, over 100 years heritage, similar to that of Harley. It's the same exact factory. Not a lot of people know that. That's been manufacturing since it opened in Mandello. So it's the same factory, over 100 years. And that's a crazy fact that people are like, really? So still all handmade in Italy. And that's most of our products are going to come from Italy, all handmade. So that brand itself, it really is, it's a bike that, again, you have to really find that customer that wants this type of motorcycle. And there's a lot of, they call them Gustatistas right out there that are true passionate people about them. And, it's all exciting stuff that we've been part of, working with some actors and stuff like that. And just getting people on seats is really one of our biggest things. And also doing all these kind of marketing tactics and guerrilla marketing, if you will, on the dealer level.
For a Powersports dealer, there are a lot of moving parts that have a direct impact on your income. That's why Moto Hunt Premium was developed. Designed specifically for dealers, Moto Hunt Premium allows you to quickly and easily manage your inventory. With streamlined pricing data from competitive dealership listings, JD Power Pricing Guide, and National Powersport Auction wholesale prices. Moto Hunt Premium also automatically identifies potential issues with your online listings to help you move your aging inventory and maximize your gross profits. Contact us today to take a test ride of the all-new Moto Hunt Premium and see how we can help your business grow and sell more inventory.
I love it because it seems to me, it's outside looking in, that you're all over the place and trying to do everything, right? You're really passionate about the whole thing. Like you said, working on some of the maybe fundamentals at the dealership level, but also working at the high end with the OEM and the manufacturing headquarters out of maybe Italy to work on some bigger projects for a worldwide brand, yes. Right? Talk a little bit about that. What's it like going from, local, regional, huge, yes, but you're only contained in the United States, now working with a worldwide brand like Piaggio and having to maybe work with, the people in Italy and some of their agenda and all that. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, and I've touched a little bit of all of it, which is great. So like I've seen kind of the localized, the regional when I was on the dealer level, and now kind of going from region to region and to national. In terms of what we do in the US, like I said, we have a great team. We all work well together, and all passionate about growing the brand on a regional and national level. It also really helps to help the dealer to kind of piggyback that, right? So we're all trying to work together for the same kind of mission, right? Is to let people know about the brands, get people excited about them and ride them. When it comes from Italy is going to give us a lot of great information. We're going to get a lot of our photography and videography from them, as well as we do a lot of stuff here on U.S. soil. But we always want to give that global message from Italy. It really is an Italian brand that's been around for so long. And if anyone has ever traveled to Europe or Italy, I mean, it's a household name, like a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or a Ford. It's the same way in Italy you would look at it, that we're trying to kind of bring that over here, and just let a lot more people know about the brand and to get excited about it.
Yeah, build it into the lifestyle there. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about the dealer network here in the U.S. How many dealers do you have carrying one of the four or all four brands? Can you talk about the Motoplex versus the individual franchise dealers?
It ranges. We have a really good chunk of dealers. It ranges, in terms of what they carry. A Motoplex, by definition, is going to be one roof with our four brands. I always like to give kind of the car example, like a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, right? It's a one roof with multiple brands underneath it. And Motoplexes, we're growing by the day. So there's going to be a few more coming out in the next few years. And that's the goal. And then we're on a bunch of multi-lines. A lot of people have our products. We have, a few people that just sell solely one product. And some of those guys they're unicorns to us because they do such a good job, because just like we have the passion, they have the same. So we have a few people throughout the States that will only sell one or two of our products, and they absolutely crush it because of that.
Nice. And how has the retail been lately coming from the OEM side of it? Are we seeing an increase in the last couple of years, post-COVID, pre-COVID? Can you share a little bit about maybe some of the expectations that Piaggio Group has and what is really happening out there in terms of retail on the new Piaggio brands that are being sold?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, COVID years we always look to is it was crazy years, right? And this is what every dealer has kind of went through. So in terms of what this year is, of course, we want growth. Of course, we see growth. Retail is similar to what it was in between the COVID years, right? So if you look before it, that's kind of what we've seen. And dealers are seeing the exact same. I talk to dealers, like I said, every day. Things are starting to pick up again, but we could probably see this year looking similar to maybe 2019. COVID years were crazy. It's crazy for everyone. You couldn't get enough product. Dealers couldn't sell enough. People were riding motorcycles they had no business riding. I mean, it was just it was a wild time. So those years have definitely they're behind us now, and now it's be strategic, and we push forward, and we're making so many new products coming out. The RS457 is going to be a real hot product. It's the first smaller CC bike for Aprilia in a really long time, before the two-stroke era, right? So now it's that's going to be exciting, as well as we're going to see some more exciting products to come for all the brands. So it's the retail has been good, and everything is going the direction we want it to, and we're excited for the future.
Nice, nice. And you mentioned you got a couple new Motoplex onboards coming soon.
Yes.
I'm sure those are in key areas of the United States. I know you just recently opened up the Daytona brand, right? Where it's a kind of a boutique there in Daytona Beach, Florida. Got all 4 brands. I saw your video on the opening, which was a couple months ago. Beautiful showroom. Is that kind of the template that the PGA would like to go towards in the boutique model?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We want to show that, these are luxury Italian brands, but at the same time, we want you to spin a tire, have fun, you know what I mean, and enjoy it. And that's how I always look at the brands. But yeah, we want you to have that feel when you walk in, that it's not the same feel as just a cluttered dealership, right? It's something where, it feels like almost a car dealership. The experience is a little bit more highlighted. That's kind of the feel we want to bring to a Motorplex. But at the end of the day, it's all the same messages. We just want people out there riding and having fun.
I love it. I love it. All right, man. Well, kind of shifting gears to your specialty, which is social media, advertising, marketing, right? It's all things included to help, kind of get out there in the digital space and move the brand. And, it has a component of retail to it. I mean, what would you say that riders, not only for the Piaggio Group itself, but for motorcyclists and the industry as a whole, where do you kind of see the riders engaging the most? Is it social media? Is it paid ads? Is it websites? I mean, I know all these things kind of have a combination, but where should dealers kind of focus their efforts most on the PGA brands and everything else that they carry to just help get their product out there to the customers that are searching for it?
Yeah, I think it's a great question because obviously with social media, it's something that you've seen, and advertising too, that shifts, as you know, all the time, right? So in terms of algorithms, you're talking things that change month to month. My biggest recommendation to dealers always is just do something, right? So whether you're trying on social media, you're working on TikTok, you're doing Instagram, you're doing videos. For me, it's just about doing something and keeping consistent, right? So at the end of the day, no matter which way you do it, if it was 20 years ago, we're building a brand, right? We want to build your dealership as a brand. I look to every dealership like you want to be the tri-state area's best. You want to be, the dealer of the area that everyone goes to, everyone drives hours to. You want to be the dealer that everyone wants to see. And that's done well when you just give attention to all these things. I think advertising is very important, but it's also just important to have good word of mouth and good social media. Now, if a dealership can afford it, I always look to say, if you can afford it, hire someone to do marketing. You, Mr. Dealer, as a business owner, you're busy. You're super busy. It's hard for you to do everything. And I don't want you to also learn how to use social media too. You know what I mean? There's things where you gotta, it's time to kind of give that to a younger generation. And with, the younger generations coming in, there's things we can learn. And sometimes even myself, kids younger than me are going to have better knowledge on some of the trends when it comes to social media, because it's always changing. So I push to say, if you can afford it in your dealership, hire someone that's young, get them in there, taking pictures, trying stuff out, because it doesn't hurt to really kind of grow your brand that way. And then if you could also afford it, that's where we look to do more advertising, Google ads. And then also, again, that word of mouth and that guerrilla marketing, it's huge. Like planning the events. I always used to do like a bikes and bagels in the summer, right? You just get people out of their house. They come in and kick tires, but they're out of their house, they're riding, they're thinking about riding, and that's your opportunity to kind of grab a new customer that you might have not had. So all these kind of things together, I always joke about marketing. It's like baking a cake, right? You forget an ingredient, it's going to taste like crap. So, we want to make sure you get a little bit of everything, you make sure it works, right? And, just keep on trying these new things and kind of put them all together to bake this cake, right?
I love that you said that. That's a good analogy. Yeah. It's not going to taste very good if you miss a crucial ingredient there.
Yeah.
And yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, businesses, being a business owner for a Powersports specific dealership, they're really running a couple businesses in one, right? They've got retail, they've got service, they've got parts and accessories, they've got, accounting, they've got people, payroll, HR. I mean, marketing, in your expertise and mine, is just one of these things that's kind of best left to a professional. Yes, of course, get involved if you like it. But if you just don't understand, but yet you're a smart guy who understands that it needs to get done nonetheless, whether you're going to take it on yourself or try to get somebody else to help you, yeah, it's best left to kind of just be out of your hands and just let it be managed while you have the insight and the know-how to say, this is how I want my business to be portrayed, right? So I love that. I love that. What kind of emerging trends, because I always like to talk to the OEM guys, what kind of emerging trends do you guys see that maybe you're leaning into? Is TikTok the next thing? Are we still staying on Instagram? Is print dead? What would you say from an OEM level is kind of where you guys are leaning towards your own marketing?
So on a OEM level, we're always looking to really understand some of these trends. Now TikTok is the thing that doing some research, looking at it, it's a weird trend because it does have a lot of younger people on it. So you're looking at how does that convert to an ROI? Is it something that people are always on? So if it's someone that can't even obtain a motorcycle license, is that the right thing that you want to put a lot of your time into? Now we are starting to do a little bit of TikTok. For us, Instagram, Facebook are pretty much the bigger hitters, and they do work. They do work great. Those are the ones where we think that we spend the most time in, as well as, like I said, doing these events. Like that's where I think no matter what, however much crazy the technology gets, you still need to shake hands, you still need to do demo events, and you still need to talk to customers. At the end of the day, even as much technology as we get, it's not, I don't think you're ever going to take away that piece of the puzzle where it's getting someone in a dealer, shaking a hand, test riding a bike, and doing that transaction.
If you're a motorcycle and power sports dealer, you already know the biggest marketplace websites are clunky, slow, and riddled with ads. Even if you pay big bucks to list your inventory, your competitors can pay even more to outrank you. That's why we created MotoHunt. Our site is famously streamlined and quick, with no extra nonsense to confuse buyers or dealers. That's why we rank so high in search results without having to spend millions in advertising. Why pay 3 times as much? At MotoHunt, one low price covers everything a dealer needs to get their inventory listed and collecting leads fast, with no multi-level pricing tiers and no way for your competition to out-premium you. No matter how many listings or leads you generate, your subscription price is the same. Click the link to find out how MotoHunt can help you start generating more leads today.
I love it. I love it. Anything else in the industry that maybe PJ isn't getting involved in, but something that you've maybe had your eye on go, that's interesting?
Yeah, I mean, all the AI stuff, right? It's intriguing. You know what I mean? As you really dive into it, it could make things easier. You know what I mean? But it's also, I think it's having someone manage that. So I would warn dealers to be careful using it, but also if you can manage it, if it works right, and if it helps your business, then use it. If it makes your life easier, that's where I see that some trends are kind of going. And we've used some stuff with AI in order to help out. And when it goes through algorithms and all that great stuff, I mean, the AI stuff, it seems like it works pretty good.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy what it's capable of nowadays. Okay. Well, Mike, you're in a new position. You are the regional sales manager, still PGA. Tell us a little bit about what this new role is for you and kind of some of the challenges that you're taking head on.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it was almost one of these roles where it was like, why didn't I kind of do this sooner? I think because understanding the dealership from both angles is something not all RSMs have. I think also having a few years of a marketing background to then bring it to the dealership's plate, it's something that I have maybe a little bit more of a leg up, and that's where I was really excited to kind of take this role and get into it. And in terms of challenges, I don't like to see anything as a challenge. It's a problem and solution, right? So there's definitely some things that I'm learning as we go through the motions. Only a few weeks in here, but I'm excited to take on the role, and I'm excited to really help all of our other RSMs kind of get more into the marketing side of it, right? To kind of pull that all in, because they call you a regional sales manager, but at the end of the day, I like to take the sales word out. For me, I don't think it's as much as a sales role as it is a management role. You are there to help your dealer with whatever it might be, right? So that is marketing. That's going to be the sales portion of it. But I don't think it's just a sales role is really we should look at it. It should be, how can I help my dealer? How can I be that problem solver? And, really show them kind of some of the things that I've learned along the years to help them succeed better.
Yeah, just being helpful, right? If they need help with something, I mean, you're jumping in. Yeah. What kind of issues are you kind of seeing over and over and over again at all the dealerships that you kind of have this scope over?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think as much as some people don't look to motorcycle as a seasonal business, it is, right? Even whether you're in California or Florida, I mean, there is some seasonality to it, less obviously in those areas. So I think a lot of my dealers I'm seeing when they do have some cold periods, they're kind of scared. They're like, okay, well, what's going on? There's no floor traffic, there's this or that. And then as soon as that March right here in this area of March kind of hits, you kind of get that uptick. So it's speaking to them, it's how do we keep busy in kind of those off months, I think is kind of a big thing. And that's where I always turn to. Let's run an event, get people out of the house, do free food. Even if you can't ride a motorcycle, you could always drive a car and look at one, right? So that's where it's like, we want to get people out of the house. We want to get them in the dealership. We want to talk about what's their next year look like? What's next season look like? How can we, help you, Mr. Motorcycle Rider? How do we get you on a new bike next year? What are you looking to trade up? What information to give you? Just being helpful, being there, and kind of being on people continuously that's what I'm trying to kind of push in kind of some of these off months.
So you got the seasonality aspect to it. Any other major problems that these guys are just having a hard time struggling through, parts, service, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what manufacturer it is, you kind of have some of these day-to-day struggles, right? Where some things could be on back order, and stuff like that. But it just depends. I mean, I think if a dealership runs right, if it has good people behind it, they overcome a lot of the hurdles and hiccups with anything. The same, like I said, when I was in Motorcycle Mall, obviously we had tons of people coming in the door, so there's going to be problems, right? So it's just how you go about those problems and kind of figure it out, and how you manage the customer. Those were the biggest key takeaways when I was in the dealer.
Nice, nice. Okay. Well, looking down the road, as we're kind of navigating through this fun industry that we have, seasonality, we've got good times, we've got bad times. There's always the economic stuff, right? Being a business owner in this space is probably not the easiest job. And I'm sure a lot of them don't get started in it to get rich. This is something that they're enthusiasts about. And you and I are one of the same in that as well. But I always like to ask, what do you think the future looks like? Not from any type of who you work for now, but like Michael's perspective. I've been doing this for a while. I've worked in a couple different spaces within the industry. This is kind of where I see things going. What do you think about that?
So like for me, being in the industry for 10 years, seeing the trends and kind of how things have been going. For me, I look to this industry as hopefully it's been dwindling, and it's because of the younger generations. People don't want to get hurt, they don't want to scrape their elbow, and it's a lot of the technology stuff. People would rather stay inside. So for me, I hope the future looks like the younger generations getting on two wheels, whether it's starting them out on a dirt bike, bringing them up through, and giving them into these hobbies. But that obviously starts with us, people starting families, and kind of growing into these things. I hope the future, is bright with motorcycling and two wheels. I'm not too sure about this electric stuff, how far that's going to go. We see with the cars kind of doing a little crazy stuff here, but the motorcycle industry basically being about 10 years behind, they say, in terms of automotive. It's intriguing to see how far that will go, and if it will succeed with the electrification. Also the hybrid, you're seeing from some other brands now. That's pretty cool stuff. So
Yeah.
Hope it keeps going. I think a lot of people are getting on smaller CCs now. It seems like the bigger bikes are slowing down. Not everyone's going out and buying a Hayabusa every day. So those trends have kind of, I think, changed over the years that I've been in the business. But no, I think the future's bright. I think there's enough new product out there. I think the manufacturers, and if you look to like Harley especially, right, they're really trying to gear towards the younger rider. They want to get people excited about it. They want to have, especially even our brands too. We're making smaller CCs. We're trying to get people into the sport, so then they could grow out the cycle and own multiple brands, own more of our bikes, grow with our brands. Right? You start on a little CC and you make your way up to the 1000. And I think the industry, and I hope is gonna keep going that direction. And I'm excited to really see where it goes in the next few years. But like you said, I mean, I don't think it's gonna change anything for us. We're still gonna throw a leg over, and it's our passion. And then everyone we talk to, we're gonna keep on telling them how much how important it is to just try it and see if you like riding a motorcycle. And I always would say that you can't describe it. There's nothing like riding a motorcycle until you do it. So I hope the industry is really are because they keep picking up on it, and they keep getting younger minds into the sport. And yeah, I mean, just keep people excited and having fun, on two wheels. So
I love that. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with two of your own brands examples: the smaller RS 457 and the EVs that your scooter brands carry. So let's kind of dive down that, because I am equally with you on that part. Right? We had Kawasaki this year announce the hybrid. We've got a couple more manufacturers, big ones, that are coming out with EV models. So it seems to be a thing that this industry is going towards as well. I mean, are you allowed to talk about maybe, where we're going with that and the electrification of any motorcycles that are upcoming, or is it just going to stay in the scooter line? I mean,
yeah,
what does the retail look on those kind of bikes?
I think obviously I don't have all the answers from Italy, so I think obviously we've seen electrification in the Vespa and Piaggio line. Could it come in the future? Possibly. I mean, I think that, if the trends keep going this direction, I think you'll see all manufacturers at least have one or two options out there. In terms of the Vespa and the Piaggio line, I mean, the scooter's great. You know what I mean? When you get on it for what it's intended for, that inner city living, I mean, removable battery, these little pieces of the puzzle here, they work really good in their application. And, in terms of quality, that's where the difference is too, right? Obviously. So now you have a lot of Chinese manufacturers making electric scooters and that people are getting, but once you kind of touch it on the Vespa lineup, now you have this nostalgic scooter that's electrified, that plugs right into the wall. That's pretty easy. You know what I mean? So in terms of what we're doing, like I said, I don't have the answers there, but if the trends keep continuing, I would assume that most of the manufacturers are going to jump on this bandwagon and have at least one or two in every lineup.
I think it's inevitable at this point. It's going to go that way, right? Just like you said, we're going to have at least one or two motorcycles per brand, per segment, even, of electric versions for those people that want them, because you got to give the people what they want, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, it's been fun talking with you. I mean, I'm glad I've been wanting you to come on the podcast here for a while and kind of chat with me, and I get to talk to you about the OEM stuff. How can people, first of all, get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I think the best thing we could do, moving from here is, obviously they could reach out to the marketing at uspiaggio.com. So that email is easy. You can find me on LinkedIn. We're actively looking. We want to grow our dealer network as best as we can, and we think it's so important to really have a full package that we offer with four totally unique brands. That's for us is so important to kind of push to the masses, because it's not like you just have to buy a sport bike. You could buy a sport bike and have a Vespa. I mean, I know I do myself. So it's like having the four brands, being able to have these, high quality, great Italian products that we could offer to the masses. That's the direction we want to go as Piaggio Group. We are growing every day. We put in tons of dealers last year. We are super excited about the brands and where they're going. In terms of dealerships, if anyone is interested, I encourage you to reach out, grab me on LinkedIn, or you can hit up the marketing email, and we'll be happy to get you to our business development team, and really see if it's an option for you out there. I mean, I think it's really an exciting time to be a part of Piaggio Group, and I hope some people listening on this call here will hopefully reach out, and we'll sell some more brands across the US and get some more people excited about our products.
Well, let's walk through that real quick. Let's say that I'm a dealership wherever I'm at. I've got a successful business for a couple of years. Maybe I'm used only. Maybe I've got a couple new franchises already. How would I go about talking to the team there, and what does the application process look like to award me one of the Piaggio brands or all of them?
Yeah, I mean, it's super simple. You would just reach out to, like I said, to myself, or we would get you in touch with our business development team, and our dealer development guys, and they would walk you through the whole process. It's super smooth and easy. We've had dealers come on from used. We have a one dealer that did used only. Now they sell Aprilia, absolutely crushing it. They're probably on track to be one of the better Aprilias or best, in the United States. And all they did was use bikes before. So it's exciting to, if you have those ideas, if you are used only, if you only have 2 or 3 manufacturers, we're open to talking to you, and I think it's we leave a nice and very open, easy, we'll make it work. So I encourage whoever, like I said, to reach out and to see if it's a great fit.
Yeah. And I think I think I know who you're talking about there.
Yes.
That's the used bike to Aprilia. And no, I mean, I agree with you. They love the Aprilia brand. They always talk and have positive things to say about it. But the ordering, the branding, you get so many more benefits as to becoming a franchised new dealer if you're not one already, or you try out one of these brands if you've already got say a motorcycle brand like Ducati or something else currently, right? So well, hey man, I very much appreciate you coming on. Learned a lot today.
Yeah.
And always like chatting with you. You're a super smart guy out there in New York doing your thing. But anybody listening, or if you want to become a dealer for the Aprilia, Moto Guzzi, Vespa, Piaggio, or all of them combined under your current dealership, for anybody that's listening to this, Mike's and the BDC team would be the people to get a hold of that. Super easy process. And any digital marketing, anything, that's kind of come up if you're a current dealer of those brands right now, they've got a great team over there that can help you out. We'll put your links and your LinkedIn in the show notes. So anybody that's listening to this, click on over there. And for all of you that's listening, I appreciate your continued support, and make sure to share this with someone if they may have some value that they find out of it. And Mike, just want to say thank you again for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the brands, and excited. I mean, like you said, both passionate people in the business. It's always good to talk.
For sure. And on that note, I think we'll say thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.